Hi my lovelies, welcome back to my channel, and for everybody who is new, I'm Leorah and I'm so glad you found me. So welcome to today's video, which is going to be a ranking, and I'm already so upset for hours because I knew I would have to sit down and actually put them into an order. And if you don't know, this is the hardest thing for me. It's like always, every single time, it is like deciding who is my most favorite child. And I have 7 children. Like in real life, I have 7 children. In my YouTube life, I have like 300 favorite children, you know? So it is really, really hard, but I have 10 palettes here in front of me who are among the palettes that I have worked with recently, and that is what we're gonna do today. So sweetie, if you've just found me, I'm Leorah. I'm a makeup artist and stylist, and I am all about color and about being positive about makeup and just like living your best life when it comes to that, and of course also in all kinds of other ways. So that is what we're doing here, and if you like that, then please check out my other content and subscribe to my channel because that would be just wonderful. Okay, sweeties, let's start. I'm really, this is scary. This is like physically painful, you know. And I was just on the morning of, like, when I'm filming this, I was speaking to Nikki Raven, who is one of my besties, and she said, Leorah, you know, don't get so stressed out about it. Just look at it as, you know, finding another way to look at your collection. So that is actually a comforting aspect of it, but still I have to have one that is at ranking at 10. You know, and that is just crazy because I love my makeup with a passion. And for me to say, well, this is a little bit less than the other one is like, okay, this speech is already too long. So let's go into it, okay? So I, of course, have to say, and I always say that at the beginning of these kinds of videos, that it is nothing, there is nothing wrong with these palettes. Even if they're ranking at 10 or 9 or 8, there is nothing like severely wrong, because if I'm ranking them, you're like top notch. You know, if you get to be that high in my whole collection and in what I'm working with, because I'm working with a lot of stuff these days, then you're good, okay? So just saying. And if there is like here and there something where I say, well, that didn't work so well for me, then I'll say it, okay? So, but in general, I just want to put it out there that this is not because number 10 is garbage, okay? There is no such thing in my life. All right, because that's not my attitude towards makeup. All right, now let's start with the palette that I'm actually wearing today. And I am only putting this for now on place 10 because this is only the first look. And this is basically just according to my first impression, and I don't think it's fair to really rank it. It would probably be higher, also according to the color scheme and also due to the performance, but I don't want to make that judgment yet. So I want to be fair, and that's why it is going to be on place 10 for now. It might later on, when I do another ranking or whatever, it might very possible, it might quite possibly be ranking much higher. Okay, so that is this palette. You might have seen this. This is a relatively new palette, and this is from ColourPro Cosmetics, which is a daughter brand of the Glam supply. And this is the 25A, I think 25A Berries Oh My palette. Okay, I think this is the first palette that ColourPro Cosmetics came out with, and this is a spectacular looking palette. Now, there is a mystery around this palette that I would like to get solved. Sweeties, help me. I have no idea how I got this palette. I have absolutely no idea why I have this. I wanted to order it, but I'm 100,000% sure that I didn't, because I have very good bookkeeping and I know what I order. Okay, so I did not order this, absolutely not. And if I would have ordered it, because that is of course based in America, it would have gone to my US PR address, because when I'm ordering something within America, it would have gone to that address. So there is no way that I ordered this, because this came to me, straight to me. Okay, I have no idea how this happened. I have already contacted the brand. I haven't heard from them as of right now, but I'm super grateful that I have it. I'm not complaining, sweeties, at all. I just would like to give credit to whoever gave this to me, whoever is behind it. I don't know if it could be PR, from the brand. I doubt it. I doubt it, because how would they have my address? Needs to be someone who has my address, you know? So anyway, this is the palette. I did my first look with this, didn't film it, but of course I will have a review up at some point soon with this palette, with probably three looks. Yeah, so anyway, that's why it is on the place 10, because I don't want to yet pass judgment, because it's just the first time. Never pass judgment after the first time, just say. Okay, now place number 9 goes to Millennial Pinx, the Millennial Pinx palette from Melt Cosmetics. So this is how she looks. I got this as a gift from Christine, who is my friend and subscriber, and I'm super grateful, because she has been an ongoing blessing here for my channel, as so many others. Sweeties, you guys are absolutely amazing, and thank you so much for your support, seriously. So this is the Millennial Pinx palette, and this is ranking where it is ranking, because the color scheme is... There is a bit of an emotional break in this color scheme, if you ask me, and that is a very personal thing, and you absolutely do not have to agree. I think one can do amazing looks, and there is also a review up on my channel with this palette where I show you that there is actually a lot you can do with this palette, just layering things on top of each other and creating new shades while you're doing that. Performance-wise, the mattes were fine. The shimmers, I always have a bit of an issue with the shimmers from Melt Cosmetics. It's not my most favorite formula, but I think it is ranking here because of this emotional disconnect here. There is something that is just, there is a disconnect for me personally, okay? I think it is not the easiest to work with when you're including these, but it is definitely possible, and it is interesting, but I think a lot of people would probably just go for this part and leave out these. I would assume. Correct me if I'm wrong. But anyway, so this was place number 9. Okay, so let's go on to Glam Shop, and that is the Glam W Moro palette. I still don't know if that is how it's pronounced, probably not, but this is the camouflage palette, and there is also a review up on this palette here on my channel. Now this is how it looks. It looks super beautiful. The performance was beautiful. The reason why this is ranking on place 8 is because I'm lacking depth in the palette. Now, to be completely fair, it makes complete sense. What you're seeing here is making complete sense when it comes to camouflage. If I would design my own camouflage, it would be probably more dramatic, because I would add a dark matte or something in this palette. Definitely a matte, but definitely darker than basically this shade here, you know, because that is just my makeup style. And now I cannot complain about something that is obviously making sense in this palette. I knew that before, you know, like I'm not sitting here complaining about something there. Like, I knew that this is camouflage, and the execution, how it translates into the palette, is beautifully done, okay? But for my own makeup preference, I would probably add something darker in order to make it more versatile for me, okay? So that is basically what it is. There is absolutely nothing wrong with the palette. It's a beautiful palette. Okay, next place, and I think that's number 7, is the Celestial Magicians palette from Artist Moon Beauty. I got this in PR from Artist Moon Beauty, and this is ranking here because it is kind of pastel neons, and that is just not my preference. There is nothing wrong with this palette either. It is a good performing palette. While I do in general believe that neons and pastels, well, pastels maybe yes, but neons are not the most easiest shades to work with in general, at least for me, okay? But this is a very cute and playful and kind of lightweight in the sense of, how am I explaining this? I'm going to explain to you in a second, because we'll get to another palette that I can compare it with to show you the weight of a palette, okay? So anyway, this is a very lightweight palette, and you'll understand in a second, okay? And the performance is good, and I'm really grateful. There is a little bit like depth in the palette also, but again, within the mattes, I would find it much easier if there would be something darker. you know, something darker to deepen up the looks. That was a bit of an issue that I had with the palette when I was working with it, because I'm pretty much locked into what I'm comfortable with, because I'm just old enough to be set in my ways, you know, and that is what it is. So there is nothing wrong with it. It's just really coming down to my preference. And yeah, so this is the Celestial Magicians palette. Now I'm gonna leave this here because I want to pick up on this one in just a second. Okay, the next one is the MaryJane palette from Melt. Also this one I got from Christine from Australia, and thank you so much, sweetie. This one was a total win for me, a total win, together also with the 2 glitter pots that this whole collection came out with, together with, you know. I don't have them here right now. It is really more about the palettes, but the glitter pots were for me the absolute star of the show, definitely, okay? But regarding the palette, I think the color scheme in the palette is just so well done, considering that it is a neutral palette, and neutral palettes are not the most interesting thing for me from a get-go, you know. You might have noticed. And I have nothing against neutral looks, because I think neutral looks are beautiful, and there's nothing wrong with this. And if you do only neutral looks, God bless you. Seriously, there is nothing wrong with you, okay? It is really just that I'm absolutely into color, but when it comes to neutrals, I love cold neutrals more than the bronzy or golden ones, okay? I think it looks spectacular on me, and also because this palette is of course pretty dark leaning, and that makes it for me even more interesting, because I can still have the drama even though it is basically taupey shades and browns, you know, and that is beautiful for me. So the performance of the mattes was really good. Again, shimmer formula, not my piece of cake, really. I think they could blow it out of this realm if they would change something, but maybe it's me, maybe I'm doing something wrong, I don't know. But it's just, as of right now, not really working so well for me, but overall the performance of the palette was really good. Okay, now let us go to the other palette that I want to show you the weight difference, okay? Wait, let me just clean up my MaryJane, because sweetie, you can go to sleep now. Okay, now let us go to this one. I have shown you this one already in a mini review video recently, okay, in my last mini review. So this is the Virgo palette from Wylie Cosmetics. Okay, so this is a very dark leaning palette, and this is what I mean when I say this is a heavy palette. This is a heavy palette, and just get it right. There is no judgment in heavy or in lightweight, okay? There is no judgment. It's just different states of a feeling, all right? So let's just put them up next to each other. Here. Wait till I'm getting organized. Don't go anywhere. Wait. It's not that easy. Okay, so here you can see that there is a definite difference between the weight you feel when you look at them next to each other, right? This one is really like dark and mature. Yes, there are a few more lighter shades, but not really that much. Overall, it is a very mature palette, which is amazing. And especially for like me at my age, and I'm 40 plus, just have to put that in here because people always think that I'm younger than I am. I'm 40 plus, I'm a mother of 7. I've lived quite a life already, and you know, I feel very drawn to palettes like this, because I feel all the depth that you don't feel when you're younger. You kind of find out about that now, like in all kinds of things, you know, not just in makeup, also in your emotional world, and in all kinds of things. You just feel like, at least that's for me, you feel like you're finding yourself, you're fine-tuning yourself. And this is what I feel about this palette, and that's why it is ranking higher than the more playful one, because this one, because it is just it is just that way, you know. For me, I feel the depth in me right now. I'm feeling less of the girl in me right now, and I'm trying to not lose the girl, because that is also a very important part. And a lot of women who get, or people, let's just say people, okay, because if you're a guy and you need to find the boy in you, whatever, it doesn't matter, okay, just adjust it to whatever you are. Now, for me saying, okay, it is very important to not lose my inner girl, because once we stop playing, sweeties, we put a tap on the whole creativity and on everything, you know. We're losing a very, very essential part of our past and a very essential part of what we are. And that's why it is super, super important that I am also confronting myself with things that are not my preference, okay? And that is neons and pastels, lightweight, girly makeup in a way, you know, glitters, kind of girly also. And yeah, so that is basically what I'm trying to say, that it is super, super important to keep your mind open and to still like keep playing, you know. Also, for example, when it comes to my head wraps, a lot of people, when I was still doing wrapping tutorials, and I might go back to doing it, I just put it on a break for now, a lot of people ask me, how can you come up with like 200 ways to wrap your turbans? And this is exactly what I'm seeing also with the makeup, because I'm just playing and I'm trying to keep it on that level, because if I'm raising it up to a thing that it shouldn't be for me, it is going to ruin it for me, you know. If it's getting too stressful and too high and too serious and too intense, then it's going to ruin my creativity, and then that is the point where I will have to shut down this channel, you know, because then I have nothing to give anymore. Okay, sweeties, that was deep. So let's just clean up and go on to the next one. So that was, of course, the Virgo palette from my Wylie Cosmetics. I do have a code with Mark. It's not affiliated. If you want to go, you can use it, and I don't make anything of it, besides you showing basically, Mark, that you trust my judgment. That is basically all. Okay, sweeties, the next spot, that is now number 4, I think, goes to Glam Shop again, and that is the Wrzosowisko or something like that palette. So I bought this one together with the camouflage palette. Wow, this is so messy. I'm so sorry. I bought this together with the camouflage palette because they launched together, and this palette for me is more beautiful, even though naturally I'm even more drawn to, of course, greens and camouflage and army, and like I love that kind of a concept, but I'm more drawn to this in this case because I do have the depth in this palette, you know. And again, the camouflage palette makes sense, because that is what camouflage is. There is not supposed to be something super harsh in it, because camouflage is supposed to camouflage something. It's not supposed to stand out like crazy, right? So I'm getting it. But this one is, for me personally, it feeds me more. You know what I mean? It feeds me more because, of course, the darker mattes here. Yeah, so anyway, that is the Wrzosowisko palette. I gotta learn Polish. What can I do? All right, so the next brand is Loca lashes. I bought this on launch, the West Coast Loca palette, and this is how she looks. Also, this one I have featured just recently in a mini review, in case you want to know about the performance more, you know, about this palette. I loved it, and the color scheme is just so beautiful. And I saw this when they sneak peeked it, or when she sneak peeked it. I immediately asked her, save me a palette. I want this palette. Don't sell anything more until I have placed my order. You know, this is beautiful. It's beautiful. The performance was so, so good. Yeah. So anyway, that is that. There's one glitter in the palette, in case that bugs you, but that was really, really, really good. Okay, then the place number 2, drum roll, goes to the Perception palette from Midas Cosmetics. I got this gifted by Andrea, who is one of my besties in Germany, and this is how she looks. Now, you have seen this probably up and down social media, because this is a very recent palette, and I have done a first impression video with this palette. I have also included it in my mini reviews, and also at the end of the first impression video there's also a review part with the swatches, in case you want to check that one out. So this is how she looks, and I really loved it. This was my first experiment and experience with Midas Cosmetics, and I'm really, really impressed. There were, and I pointed that out already in my mini review, this shade and this shade didn't impress me so much, but everything else was really, really nice, like really nice. And yeah, really beautiful. So Midas Cosmetics definitely on the horizon for me, ranking on place number 2. Okay, now I'm gonna show you my first place, and that is a brand that I think should get way more attention, but way more attention, and that is Gourmand Girls Cosmetics. Sweeties, that is the palette of this ranking where I thought, wow, 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 and Wow. Okay. Spectra palette. This is the only palette that I have from Gourmand Girls Cosmetics as of right now. But yeah, this is, wow. Sweeties, seriously, and I know some of you have already gone ahead and bought this because you saw it here on my channel, and I'm so glad that you did, because I am 100,000% convinced that you're going to love this. The formula is so good, so good. Color scheme so good, gives you such a nice variety, so playful, and still also kind of mature also, because it is not like, wait, let me just compare it. Apparently we're doing comparisons today, you know, because this, for example, not really a mature palette feeling wise. Okay, of course when you're mature and my age and older, of course you can use these shades. It has nothing to do with that. It's just about the feeling, the overall feeling of a palette, how I'm feeling and experiencing the colors, not the quality, just the colors for what they are. Okay, I hope you guys understand that I'm not trying to like be negative or something. Okay, so this has a bit of a more mature feel, a little bit in the direction of the Virgo palette from Wylie Cosmetics, but a little bit brighter, you know. So, and I think that also makes it maybe a little bit less threatening, because it is easier, especially when you're of a lighter complexion. It makes it a little bit easier to work with, even though the palette from Mark is also like, the quality is really good, so you can blend out those dark shades without having lighter shades in it. Okay, so anyway, this is the palette, and there is also a review up on my channel, and I am really in love with this palette. It was such a surprise, you know, really, because I didn't know anything about Gourmand Girls Cosmetics. I know that the owner is super nice, and she has gone through quite a year plus, and yeah, and that's why we started chatting really. And then she sent me this palette and also the face palette together with it, that is also in the review. But anyway, today is of course about eyeshadow palettes. So yeah, and then she sent me this palette and I started working with it, and I was blown away from the first look. I think I did 3 looks with it so far, and that is just beautiful, you know, beautiful quality. And I highly recommend for you to check out that brand. Don't overlook the small ones, sweeties. I think it is so important to support these little brands, because they're doing an amazing job. They're putting all their energy into what they're doing, and there is a difference to buy from a brand like Gourmand Girls Cosmetics, or like, you know, these other small brands that I just featured, or to buy your 100th ABH palette. You know, there is a difference there. There is a difference that is in the kind of environment you're creating in the beauty community, and also in how, of course, how you're supporting them, how there is a shift towards the smaller indie brands, because those are the ones that are in like heart and soul, you know, most of them. Yeah, they are always some that are black sheeps and whatever, but anyway, just saying, that is where I see myself, you know. That's why I call myself the ambassador of indie brands, because that is what I want to do. That is what I want to find out. I want to pick those little ones that need to get featured, and that need to have a platform, and that need to be tried, and that maybe don't even give me a lot of views, because people are not really looking for them, but maybe they will be at some point, and maybe I can be part of that. So sweet, if you like that, then yes, please give the video a like and subscribe to my channel if you have not done so, because this is building a community that is super important. A positivity and a shift towards, you know, more power to the small ones. You know what I mean? I think that would be just awesome. That would be amazing if we could just rebuild this community, get away from the corruption of a lot of the bigger ones, and just hand a little bit more power to the little ones. That would just be awesome. So in a way, I'm Robin Hood. Am I? Okay, so you can definitely leave me your comments in the comment section down below and tell me that I've completely gone off the charts. So that is fine. Of course, you will find my today's makeup in the description box down below, and of course also my discount codes that I have with different brands. I also have one with Gourmand Girls Cosmetics, by the way. It is also not affiliated, so shop away. I make nothing of this. Besides that, of course, you will find my links to my social media for more inspiration, for flat lays, for looks, for styling, and for everything also in the description box down below. And I shall see you here next time for my next video. And up until then, definitely go ahead and sparkle. Hugs and kisses. Bye.